Hello everyone once again. I managed to escape my court-martial from last lesson. However, I'm back, and this time we're discussing Samus, which brings me to something I'd like to say. I've always wanted to be a galactic bounty hunter. Sounds like a rather exciting life, don't you think? So, I've created a checklist to drawing similarities between me and Samus, and seeing if I have what it takes to be a galactic bounty hunter. Let's move on to the first point. Not quite yet.
Samus Aran. And no, I won't be making any jokes about Samus being called Metroid. And yeah, I'm referencing the thing I said in the last video. Samus is one of these characters who did get more well known for being in Smash, and it's definitely impacted the popularity of her games. But that's not to say they have any less greatness than all of the other games I'll be discussing. So, today we'll be discussing Samus's constant neglection by Nintendo, and the fact that in Smash, her moves have remained unchanged since Smash 64. Samus was created by Makoto Kono, who designed Metroid. The game itself was designed to take elements of platforming from the Mario series and the same puzzle-solving exploration of The Legend of Zelda. Samus herself is based off of Ellen Ripley from the Alien movies, as are a lot of elements from the Metroid franchise itself. They also made her female as a shock to fans, which it certainly was at the time. She was also one of the first playable female protagonists in a game, with the main notable exception being Miss Pac-Man. Samus has often only really been used by Nintendo when they felt like it. This is because, whilst Metroid is a series that often receives very good critical acclaim, in terms of sales it doesn't do the greatest, but it does okay, enough for them to decide to, chuck in a game every 5 years, whether it's good or not. In the Metroid series, Samus is known for her traumatic past.
Have a tragic backstory? Oh boy, I have something for you. One day, I was just a young kid in school. There was this teacher, and they shouted at me. I don't even know what it was for. It might have something to do with, stabbing the boy next to me and using his guts as balloons, but why would he shout it?
Okay, Samus's backstory might not be that tragic, but still pretty sad, Samus lived with her parents Virginia and Rodney on the planet K2L, and, Ridley and the space pirates came and kinda killed her entire family. Just a little issue. Ridley spared the 3-year-old Samus, which for him was a fatal mistake, because it gave her a resentment against him for the rest of her life. After Ridley's attack, the Chozo came to the planet K2L, and seeing that Samus was the only survivor, put her under their wing. However, the Chozo weren't the best at raising a child. They thought, okay, if we're raising you, you must become one of us. So they injected Samus with Chozo DNA and also made her go under extreme physical training.
Alright, go through physical training. Well, let me play the epic Rocky style montage.
I don't know what that was. Anyway, Samus was living with the Chozo in Zibbies, and living among the Chozo, she had to be like them. So I've already mentioned the training she went through. She also had to dress like them, which is where she got her power suit that we often see her wear.
I'm more drippy than Samus will ever be.
Yep, that's right, I do have that drip. Anyway, as Samus was almost grown up, The space pirates, who wiped out her parents, returned, and this time in Zebes, where they attacked the Chozo. Samus had no choice to leave, and joined the Galactic Federation. Now, Samus was at the Galactic Federation for a fair while, but then she decided to leave them. Then she became her own independent bounty hunter. It was at this point she received a message to go back to Zebes, where the Chozo used to live. Apparently, the space pirates had taken over, and that meant killing Ridley. So Samus did all that, and whilst it looked like she killed Ridley, she didn't. He doesn't really seem to die. So Samus went through a few other missions. She had to fight an evil clone of herself once, actually ended up wiping out the Metroids apart from one little baby. Oh yeah, and then she had to return to Zebes again, where she finally got the chance to kill Ridley.
Ugh, poppycock, I can do that too. Sorry, I didn't recognise the fact that it said evil.
Okay, yeah, Samus killed Ridley, and then she went through a weird period in a bad game that I won't mention, and then after that, she had to destroy the X-Parasite, which she thought that she'd done. Oops, she hadn't, so she had to go do it again, and she kinda almost became a Metroid, and she almost kinda met her adopted father, but anyway. Yep, Samus is one of the original 64 crew, so she's been in every game since, and this is one of the most disappointing movesets. Not that it's bad or anything, but it's barely received any tweaks over the years. It's because of her moveset. I would like the next Smash game to have a total revamp of every 64 fighters moveset, whilst maintaining their classic moves, but not all of them. Her neutral B is just a charged shot, her side B is just a missile, her down B is just bombs in her morph ball, and her up B is a screw attack. I think these could get a serious change because of what we've had introduced in Metroid Dread. Oh yeah, and who could forget her final smash, which is probably one of the most generic ones in the game. Personally, I think for her final smash she should use her Metroid abilities that she gained in Dread. But I don't think this will happen, because Samus has constantly been neglected by Nintendo, her very own creators.
I wonder what it's like to be neglected by your creators. Ah well, at least that doesn't mean being beaten by a wooden spoon anymore.
Subscribe or I'll do the same.